welcome back to another video. This video is going to be different than, the stuff that I usually post on this channel, Nerf gun reviews. This is going to be a tier list of all the Fortnite seasons, starting from Chapter 2, Season 1. So I did play in Chapter 1. I started playing in, Chapter 1, Season 3 or 4, but I don't remember most of the stuff from the game during that time, except for, the map and the weapons and stuff. So, yeah, I'm going to start with Chapter 2, Season 1, because I could remember it pretty well. Chapter 2, Season 1 was like a new start for Fortnite. It was the first time the game received an entirely new map with all the new the locations being new. It also made new graphics. But yeah, that was pretty much all that the season did. Other than that, there was no updates at all. There was one update actually that added the harpoon gun, but nobody really cares about the harpoon gun. So yeah, this season it got really boring after a couple weeks, because it was the longest season of Fortnite. I think it was 3-4 months long. And as I said, the only update there was in the season brought one new weapon, which wasn't even that good. So I'm going to put this season in C tier. It did change the game a lot. And, it was the start of one of the best chapters, if not the best chapter, my personal favorite chapter so far. But other than that, the season itself really wasn't that great. Chapter 2, Season 2 is a tad bit overrated in my opinion. I do like what they did this season. They added a lot of new content. This was the first time we saw bosses. They dropped mythic weapons, and you could break into vaults and stuff. But it didn't really do this. If you think about it, it didn't really do this concept well, the whole spy theme, because the season was really unbalanced. Because there was mythics that you could pick up, and half of them were trash and the other half were brokenly OP. You could have TNTina's boom bow and Deadpool's hand cannons, which both of them really sucked. Or you could have Midas's drum gun and Sky's AR, and both of them beamed. You could go from 200 HP to 0 in seconds. So the season was really unbalanced. The henchmen were also stronger than the boss. There's a bunch of videos on the internet of people getting absolutely destroyed by henchmen. I'm going to say this was an A tier season, because even though it didn't do a lot of stuff very well, the battle pass was great. The new POIs were really they were really detailed. So yeah, this was a really unique season at the time, but it wasn't the best, and I think it's a little bit overrated in my opinion. Season 3 was Chapter 2's summer season. This was when the whole map got, well, not the whole map, but 75% of the map got put underwater. And basically, this season brought a lot of changes to the game. There was rideable sharks. There was whirlpools in the water that could send you flying in the air. I really, really liked this season. It brought a lot of new content, including cars, which in my opinion were one of the best additions to the game. Still, even now, it's one of the best ways, if not the best way, to get around the map. I really like the bosses. Jules and Kit both dropped decent weapons. Well, Jules only dropped one good weapon, which was the grappler. But the grappler was just so good. It was the best mobility item at the time. But then over at Catty Corner, there was Kit, which dropped two fan favorite items. Honestly, he dropped the charged shotgun, which did I think if you fully charged it, it did more damage to the head than a pump, but I don't remember. And he also dropped the shockwave launcher, which was again another amazing way to move around the map. This season just was really action packed. There was a lot of ways to get around. There was good bosses. The battle pass had pretty good skins. I'm going to say this is our first amazing season. There's really, in my opinion, there's barely anything bad about it. Next is the Marvel season, Nexus War. This season was so good. It was a risk, definitely, making the whole season Marvel themed, the Battle Pass, the POIs, but it paid off because now the community considers it like top 3 best seasons, and I could definitely understand why. So in the game, at this time there was like 13, 14 mythic items. That was before the Halloween event that added, the Shadow Drum Gun and the She-Hulk fist, but we'll talk about that later. So before that, there was already a lot of mythic weapons, and to be honest with you, most of them were pretty good. There was Thor's hammer, which was pretty good for taking out people in boxes and build fights. There was Groot's shield, which was really good for mobility and healing and, getting out of fights and stuff like that. And there was also Iron Man's Unibeam, which was arguably the most broken one that season. You could just shoot through walls and do 90 damage. It was really accurate too. So yeah, this season had a really solid loot pool. The Battle Pass was also the skins. Unfortunately, I didn't get the Battle Pass this season. I wish I did. But the Battle Pass, the skins look exactly like how they do in the movie. Especially Iron Man and Wolverine, they looked really good. I'm going to say this was an amazing season. 2 back-to-back amazing seasons. If there's one thing that I could say that was bad about this season, I would probably say that there weren't too many map changes. When the season first came out, the only one I could really remember was Doom's Domain, which, was basically just Pleasant Park, but the football field had a hole in it. But what the thing is, the season, as it progressed, it added 2 new POIs. One of them was huge. Stark Industries was massive. And then there was the Ruins, which obviously brought back Midas during the Fortnite event. And speaking of which, that event was one of the best of all time. So I'm going to say this is indeed an amazing season. Chapter 2, Season 5 is really underrated in my opinion. I know a lot of people didn't really like it, the whole bounty hunter theme. They didn't like that the season was mostly focused on collabs, but I didn't really have a problem with that. Personally, I liked that Fortnite was doing a season purely based on collabs. That was pretty cool because, we got a bunch of collabs this season. We got Street Fighter, we got Terminator. There was a lot of collabs this season. I also liked the map changes. The Coliseum is still one of my favorite POIs of all time. Mando's ship, which crash landed on the island, you could kill him, get 2 pretty solid mythic weapons in my opinion. I think that this season was A tier. It wasn't S tier. There was problems with it. It didn't really have that many updates. And when there was updates, it was usually just like a new skin or something, a new collab item or something like that. But I do think this was a good season. The POIs were good. The weapons were good. The Battle Pass was good. And it had one of the best shotgun metas of all time. There was a lot of different shotguns. There was the Pump, the Dragon's Breath. There was the Tactical Shotgun, the Lever Shotgun. There was a lot of shotguns. And there was the Dub. Okay, so a lot of people can agree with me here that Primal was trash. And if you are one of the few people that actually like Primal, let me explain why so many people hate the season. So, first of all, the only thing that was really good and on point about this season was bows and the Battle Pass. The skins really matched the theme. But that's where the good things end this season. The map was really ugly and everything was just bright orange and it kind of hurt to look at. The weapons, most of them just really sucked. The only good weapon when the season released was the Primal Shotgun, but then that got nerfed and nobody used it. So basically the whole season, the only good item was the bows, and there was also one more, which was, I forgot what it was. There was bows and there was that AR, which I know a couple people liked. It wasn't the most accurate gun of all time, but it did quite a lot of damage. Did like 50 damage to the head. I think it was called the Primal AR. So yeah, this loot pool was really bad. The map was also really bad. There was also a couple like changes that weren't that good this season. There was the hunter's cloak, which was a pretty useless item. You could like use it to tame animals and get close to them and stuff, but like most of the time your animals wouldn't do anything. Like what would a wolf do? You're not gonna get a win because of a wolf, or maybe somebody did, but that, it's not gonna happen often. There was also the crafting system, which I'm glad they removed it because they could have made it so much better, but it was literally just make a trash item a little bit better by spending 30 minutes gathering materials. So yeah, there was a lot of things wrong with this season. I also forgot to mention that the wildlife was really annoying. Like, you could just be reviving your teammate and then a boar starts attacking you. So yeah, map was bad, loot pool was bad, wildlife was bad, changes were bad. This season overall was just really, really bad. This video is already getting pretty long, so I am going to make a part 2 tomorrow, and I'm going to do a couple more seasons. I'm probably going to try to get this tier list done in 3 parts, because I can't do all the seasons tomorrow, because then the video would be like 20 minutes long, and I try not to make my videos that long. So I'm just going to leave it right here. I hope you enjoyed. I will see you guys next time, and I will review more seasons.